issues like social justice and mental health. This show fearlessly tackles the pivotal subjects that resonate deeply within our generation. My mission is to embody authenticity, relatability, and humor, ensuring that even the most challenging discussions become accessible and engaging, creating a space where listeners can feel understood and entertained simultaneously. That's actually really exciting to me because we are back in studio. I mean, we were at the Durban Summer Souk and then we were at the Dubai Souk. Now we're back in studio. I actually missed my sound engineer, Sponiso, so shout out to you. Yay. So anyway, I wanted to work on a few questions that I had put on my social media, asking questions about mental health or what you would want to ask me. Right. So the first one is privacy dead in the social media age. Now this one's kind of interesting, kind of complex, and honestly, from my opinion, it's not dead, but it's no longer the default. So like in the pre-social era, privacy was passive. If you did nothing, most of your life stayed offline by design. And now today, privacy is active. So if you do nothing, your whole life bleeds into feeds, data brokers, ad profiles, and search results. Now, oversharing isn't a moral failure. It's the predictable outcome of platform design, attention economics, and human psychology colliding. Now, what do we mean by privacy? Now, privacy isn't one thing, it has layers. So, I'm going to give you 4 examples. Now, you have number one, personal privacy, and that is what you keep to yourself, like your feelings, your emotions, your health, your finances. There's number two is social privacy. So, who you choose to tell, under what norms, like, for example, your close friends versus the public. Number three is platform privacy and how apps collect, infer, and distribute your data, such as your settings, your trackers, and algorithms. And lastly, number four, legal privacy, which is rights and obligations under law. For example, South Africa's POPIA. And yeah, so when people say privacy is dead, they usually mean layers 2 to 4 have shifted so far that layer 1 feels impossible to protect. But you still have levers. They just require intention. And layers 2 to 4, as I mentioned, is social privacy and a platform privacy and legal privacy. And then now it shifts so much that layer 1, which is personal privacy, feels impossible to protect. Now, here is how oversharing becomes normal in this situation. Number one is platform design. The nudges you don't notice. Okay? They're kind of big words, but I'm going to explain that. Frictionless posting. So that is from your camera, you post it to your story, and it shares in seconds. And then low friction invites impulse. The next one is defaults and dark patterns. Like your public or friends of friends may be the starting point, and opting out takes effort. Okay, the next one is gamified feedback. So that is, your likes, your hearts, boosting your posts, and your post is performing better than 95% of your other posts. Messages encourages more intimate disclosure. And then lastly, context collapse. One post hits many audiences all at once, like your boss, your cousin, your ex, your client, strangers. So what feels casual can land professionally or permanently. Now, then we're going to look at the attention economy and why sharing pays. Okay, now data is currency. So you have more detailed posts, and then that leads to better ad targeting, and that leads to more platform revenue. Another is intimacy sales, where audiences reward vulnerability and creators learn that personal platforms. The next is parasocial relationships, where followers feel they know you and expect ongoing access. Saying less can feel like a betrayal of their relationship. Number three, the psychology of how our brain helps the machine. Number one is a viral reward. Not every post gets traction, but the occasional big hit keeps you posting, and that is casino logic. Number two is self-disclosure effect. Now that is sharing about yourself. This creates warmth and trust, and that is great for connection, but it's risky at scale. So there's a downside too. The next is present bias. The buzz of now outweighs the cost to the future me. And lastly, social proof. So once you see others sharing pay slips, breakups, diagnoses, you adjust your sense of normal. And then we look at the social norms drift. So the acceptable perimeter keeps expanding. Like that's relationship drama, therapy notes, fertility journals, kids' milestones, addressable interiors, your house, your lights, street view, all now routine feed material. Now, here's what we lose when we overshare. Number one is safety, most important one, where, you have your live location, routines, school uniforms, number plates, running routes. It maps your movement. The next one we're looking at, reputation and work, where posts live longer than context, so a snarky comment can outlive the joke. The next one is negotiation power. Broadcasting your salary, rates, or personal constraints can weaken leverage if done without strategy. The next is children's digital futures, sharenting, where kids inherit an online dossier they didn't consent to, and that consists of their faces, their names, their school, their habits. The next one is data brokerage, public posts plus likes plus follows plus device data create profiles bought and sold beyond your control. The next is emotional hangovers, where vulnerability posted in a low moment can become a permanent brand. Now, here is why people keep doing it, and it's not, just vanity. Connection, where community support, crowdsourced advice, and belonging. Opportunity, where jobs, clients, collaborations, personal stories build trust quickly. The next is coping, where for many sharing is cathartic and life-saving. Like, for example, grief, your illness, recovery, and abuse survival. The next is creativity, by documenting life in a modern art form, and that can be meaningful. So the answer is never share. It's share with intent, the bit we tend to skip. Now we're going to look at the next part is the privacy paradox. Now people say they value privacy but behave as if they don't. Why? The question is why. Now, convenience versus control. Privacy takes time. Convenience is instant. The next one is opaque systems. By settings change, policies are dense, defaults favor exposure. Next is diffuse harm, where the risk is probabilistic and delayed, and maybe it will never bite me. That's what you say. There'll be, let's say, a spider, and you're like, maybe it will never bite me, but will it? The next is social media pressure. If I don't post, I'm irrelevant. If I don't show my kid, people assume I'm cold. That's another one. And then we look at the anatomy of a post, the metadata you do not see, because every share potentially reveals the time and location. Like there's visual clues, recurring routines. Another one is network ties, like your tags, your comments, your mutuals. Then behavioral patterns, when you're home or away, what you buy and who you support. Environment, like your house layout, valuables, neighborhood, and security habits. And then we have face and voice prints, usable for recognition across platforms, even if you never geotag context, often recreates the map. And then we look at the high risk categories known as red flags, such as live location, like if you are at an event, cafes, school gates, gym check-ins. Next is children's identifiers, where you put in their full names, their school uniforms, and schedules. Next is legal or medical matters, like ongoing cases, diagnoses tied to identity. Next is workplace specifics, like client lists, screens, confidential projects. Next is financials, like your cards in frame, exact income with full name, and real-time purchases. And lastly, new assets, like a new car with plates, your home address visible, and expensive gear near windows. Now, the law helps, but can't save you from feeds. Like the POPIA in South Africa aims to protect personal information and regulate processing. You can request access or correction, and organizations must secure data and report certain breaches. The next one is GDPR in the Europe, like transparency, consent, purpose limitation, data minimization, rights to access or erasure or portability, hefty penalties or misuse. And then the CCPA or CPRA in California and other regimes, right to know, delete, opt out of sale. Laws regulate organizations more than individual choices. They don't prevent you from oversharing. They kick in once someone else mishandles your data. Treat them as guardrails, not airbags. Now, this is not legal advice. For specific cases, speak to a lawyer. Anyway, a practical way to talk about this is let's look at the privacy zone model, okay? So I'm going to give you 3. So green, amber, and red. So green is generally safe, like your thoughts, art, jokes, non-identifying everyday moments, and delayed travel memories, and also scenery. Amber is context dependent, like money talk, relationship up and downs, venting about people, health journeys, and workplace documents. And then red, avoid, which is like your live locations, children's identifiers, addresses, plates, precise schedules, and legal disputes, and also raw medical documents. And then we look at the 5D posting framework. Now, I'm going to give you 5. So it's decide, delay, distill, demetadata, and delegate. Now, number 1, decide the audience, like your public, your followers, your close friends, or just don't post. That you can even put, like, for example, on TikTok and Instagram, you can put your accounts in private. Number 2 is delay, by hours or days. So post after you've left and after emotions cool. So let's say you're at a cafe and you want to post your drink or something that you had there. You'd rather post it once you've left than post it while you're there for your own safety. Next is distill the story to the feeling and not identifying detail. And then number 4, demetadata. So you crop your plates, blur badges, remove EXIF where possible. So if you want to take a picture of your brand new car, standing with it, or just a car in general, block out or blur the number plate. And lastly, number 5, delegate boundaries. Have a posted charter where you say, we don't show children's faces. Thanks for understanding. Now, the next is a privacy reset checklist. Now, I'm going to give you, let's give you about 10 examples, okay? Turn off precise location for social apps where check camera permissions. Number 2, audit profile fields by removing your phone or email unless business critical and use a business inbox. Number 3, create a close friends or broadcast list for sensitive updates. Number 4, clean the grid. Remove posts that show your address, school badge, and routine routes. Number 5, enable 2FA, two-factor authentication, and use unique passwords via a manager. I mean, on my Instagram, for example, I've had people who have tried to hack my account, and I was like, no, I'm not going to deal with this. I do not want this. So I switched on my 2FA, and now whenever someone tries to log in, I get a notification, and I get a code. So if I want them to log in, I'll give them the code, but they obviously won't get it because it is connected to my number and my email. Number 6 is delay travel posts until you're back by avoiding boarding pass shots. Number 7, teach a house rule like no faces plus no places without permission. Number 8, review third-party app connections by revoking anything you do not use. Number 9, switch off contact syncing if you don't need it. And number 10, set up alerts for your name or brand to catch impersonation early. Now, here are a few special cases that are actually worth unpacking. Number 1 is sharenting, parents posting kids. Now, the risks is identity, safety, future embarrassment, images reused out of context. Here's a better practice where you put in their initials and not their full names. Wide shots or the back of their head, delay posts, private family album apps, ask older children for consent, and keep school logos out of frame. Number 2 goes to creators, influencers, and small business owners under pressure. Access equals growth. And the counter is set content boundary charter and say it out loud. For example, I don't show my home exterior or my child's face. Or I post travel only after I've left. Or I don't share medical documents, I share lessons learned. Or I use a business WhatsApp or email. My personal number is private. Audiences respect clarity and the right ones stay. Anyway, I will be back right after a quick ad break, so I'll see you soon.
This segment is brought to you by Kenfield Auto, your RMI approved service and repair specialist. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Kenfield Auto.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.
Car won't start?
Kenfield Auto.
Noisy brakes?
Kenfield Auto.
Due for a service?
Kenfield Auto. Kenfield Auto, the answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Kenfield Auto, your RMI and insurance approved workshop. Follow the red and white board in the passage at 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call Shafi on 031 207 2399. Kenfield Auto.
Car won't start?
Kenfield Auto.
Noisy brakes?
Kenfield Auto.
Due for a service?
Kenfield Auto. Kenfield Auto, the answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Kenfield Auto, your RMI and insurance approved workshop. Follow the red and white board in the passage at 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call Shafi on 031 207 2399. Kenfield Auto.
Elevate your style with Al-Noor kurtas and fragrances from Potent Eyes Perfumes, exclusively available at Al-Ansar Shop. Visit us at 207 West Road or call 031-208-1601. Experience the best in fashion and perfumery. Al-Ansar Shop where elegance meets fragrance.
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Okay, beautiful souls, it is me, Ria Mahomed, back live on Next Gen at Radio Al-Ansar. Now we are going to talk about dating and relationships. Now, breakups, new partners, ring reveals, highly engaging and also highly risky. So ask yourself, am I posting to connect or to convince? And also protect your partner's privacy and don't post identifying details without consent, which is most important. Number 4 is communities and WhatsApp groups, like screenshots of private groups are still private communications. Forwarding without consent breaks trust and in some contexts the law or platform rules. Treat DMs and groups as consensual spaces and not content mines. Number 5, mental health and medical journeys. If sharing helps, consider the time-shifted storytelling, like sharing after processing. Remove hospital names, doctors' faces and file numbers, and focus on resources and coping strategies over raw documents. And then you think to yourself, but if I don't share, I'll disappear. Now, here are 3 responses that I'm going to give to you. Number 1 is separate intimacy from identifiability, where you can be warm without being exposed. Tell a story but omit the coordinates. Number 2 is build formats that are not biographical, like interviews, explainers, reviews, challenges, caller stories, your present but not mind. And number 3, be predictable in content and not in routine by posting at predictable times, not in predictable places. And then you tell yourself, privacy hasn't died, the burden has moved from the platform to the person. Share the feeling of the moment and not metadata. Free apps aren't free. they are subsidized by your habits. Your future is a stakeholder in today's post, and boundaries are not walls, they are signposts. Now, here are common myths, okay, and quick counters. So, the myth, I'm not famous, no one cares. Reality, data brokers and bad actors don't need fame, only patterns. The myth, my account is private, so I'm safe. Reality, screenshots travel, followers churn, and settings change. Another myth is, I turned off location, so posts reveal nothing. Reality, visual clues, routine recreate the map. Myth, if it's illegal, platforms will remove it. Reality, removal is slow, copies spread, and search catches linger. Okay, the myth, I will delete it later. Reality, deletion doesn't retract downloads, archives, or scrapes. Now, here are a few mini stories, anonymized composites, so you can tell, right? Now, number one is the live location selfie, where a creator posted in a quiet cafe with a recognizable street view. A follower popped up and said hi, and they met well but felt invasive. So the fix you can use is to post after leaving and crop your surroundings. Number two, the first day photo. Uniform plus badge plus name board. A relative reshared publicly. Parents switched to initials and private album the next year. Number three is the vent about a client. A freelancer ranted. The client's friend followed them, lost the contract, and the way you could fix this is to rant offline, share lessons, and not identities. And number four, the misread intimacy. Regular late night lives grew big parasocial bonds when the creator set boundaries and a minority felt betrayed. Now the fix is set the charter early and repeat it kindly. Now you have to build a healthier culture beyond individual fixes. You need to normalize saying no. You need to be comfortable with it because you need to get model consent. Ask before tagging or posting someone else's child. Design pressure. Praise platforms that offer privacy by default and clear controls. Then community standards. Call out doxing, stalking, and sharing of private information as uncool, not just unlawful. And then education. Teach kids that audience and longevity are part of posting, who sees it and for how long. Now, is privacy dead or are we just giving it away for likes? That is our main topic of discussion right now. What is the most personal thing you've ever posted and do you regret it? Now, platform nudges, attention, economy, psychology, define context, collapse, and privacy paradox. I want to know what you think, so message us via WhatsApp at 060-904-1056. Now we are going to be talking about why oversharing feels normal, the cultural shift. A, we've blurred the line between personal and public. In the past, public meant newspapers, TV, or speaking on stage. Now, public is a quick selfie to your 500 followers, but those followers include your work colleagues, neighbors, and strangers. B, social capital is tied to disclosure. The more you share, the more relatable you seem. Platforms reward vulnerability with more engagement, especially emotional posts. C, generational normalization, where Gen Z has grown up with constant documentation. They see online identity as part of the self. And then older generations have adapted, but often without understanding the long-term implications. And then D, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen culture. Events feel incomplete without photos or videos online. The pressure to document can override the instinct to protect privacy. Number 3, the psychology behind oversharing. A, dopamine loops, where you have your likes, your shares, comments, and that equals to micro dopamine hits. Variable reward schedules, where not every post goes viral. It just keeps people hooked. Then B, self-disclosure theory. By sharing personal details can create intimacy, and in healthy relationships, that is good. But on a mass scale, it is risky because the relationship with your followers isn't actually balanced. C. FOMO, fear of missing out. If others are sharing, you feel pressure to keep up. Otherwise, you risk being left out of conversations or trends. And then D. Present bias. The emotional payoff now, your likes and validation outweighs concerns about future consequences. Now, number 4, the platform mechanics that drive oversharing. A. Algorithm design. Posts that keep people scrolling are boosted, often ones with strong emotion or intimate content. The system doesn't care if the content harms your privacy, it cares about retention and engagement. B. Default settings, where many apps default to public or share to multiple networks unless you manually opt out. And then C. Social comparison features, like notifications like you have more views, more than 90% of your posts, encourage further posting. D. Inferior features, like your stories, disappearing messages, they lower our guard, even though the content can be saved or recorded. Now, number 5, real-world consequences of oversharing. A. Safety risks. Live location posts can make stalking or burglary easier. Showing extensive purchases can attract opportunistic crime. B. Reputation and career. Screenshots from private groups can leak. Jokes, rants, or political statements can resurface years later and be misinterpreted. And C. Financial harm. Scammers use information from posts to guess passwords or impersonate you. Criminals can create synthetic identities with just a bit of data from different posts. D. Emotional toll. Negative feedback on personal posts can cause lasting anxiety, and public exposure during vulnerable times like breakups and grief can amplify trauma. And then E. Children's rights. Sharenting creates a digital footprint for a child before they can consent, and future embarrassment where images used out of context or resurfacing during teenage years. Now, number 6, why privacy feels like it's dying. Default exposure. If you do nothing, your life is online. Friends tag you and abstract you. Cultural expectation, where transparency is marketed as authenticity. Invisibility of risk. You don't see the data brokers, the cached images, or the silent watchers. And then monetization of personal life. For many, privacy is traded for income, influence, or networking. Now we are going to talk about, is privacy truly dead? Nope, unfortunately not, but it's a choice now, not an accident. In 1990, you had to actively share to be public. In 2025 and 2026 now, you have to be actively to protect yourself to be private. Now, number 8, practical framework. Share with intent, the 5D rule, which is decide, delay, distill, de-identify, and delegate boundaries. I mentioned this before, but now we're going to go dig a bit deeper, okay? Now, decide your audience, your public, your friends only, your close friends, or don't even post at all. Number 2 is delay posting, especially location-based content, until you've left. Number 3 is distill the post to emotion or message, not identifying details. Number 4, de-identify by removing names, blur faces, crop out plates, uniforms, and addresses. And number 5, delegate boundaries by stating them upfront, like your bio captions, so people respect them. Now we are going to be talking about the fact that, do we judge people too quickly? Now, social media snap judgment versus real life impressions. Now let's go in, let's deep dive properly. Now, as I mentioned, the core question is, do we judge people too quickly, especially online? The short answer is yes, because our brains are built for speed. Social media is built for snap takes, and the cues we use online are partial, polished, and often misleading. And real life impressions evolve. Online, they freeze. Now, here's how first impressions actually work. Thin slicing. Humans can form impressions of warmth, competence, and intent in milliseconds. It's an evolutionary shortcut. Like quick reads kept our ancestors safe. Offline, those fast reads are quickly updated by ongoing cues, voice, timing, micro expressions, and shared context with mutual friends. And here's why the brain rushes: the cognitive load. Your mind conserves energy by using heuristics, which are mental shortcuts. The negativity bias, where potential threats get more attention than neutral positives. Then confirmation bias, where once we've got a first take, we filter new info to protect it. And then fundamental attribution error, where we overcredit someone's character and undercredit their context, like she's rude versus she's under pressure. Then we're looking at offline versus online. Offline equals key rich, tone, pace, eye contact, posture, even how someone enters a room. And then online, cue poor, but signal loud, where one photo, one caption, follower count, a few comments, and boom, we decide. Now, part 2 is why social media supercharges snap judgments. Number 1, designed for speed. Infinite scroll plus short form video means we evaluate someone in 1 to 3 seconds or we swipe. Platforms literally train us to judge fast. Number 2 is context collapse. One post faces every audience at once. Your gran, your boss, ex, strangers, a joke for mates looks outrageous to HR. We judge without shared context. Number 3, aesthetics as truth. Lighting, lenses, filters, editing, background interiors, even font choices act as status signals. We read polished as competent and messy as unreliable, even when it is about equipment and not character. Number 4 is matrix equals moral cues. So it comes to blue ticks, follower account, views, and like ratio feels like evidence of credibility, but they're not. They are evidence of distribution and not virtue. Number 5, comment herding. Early comments set the tone. If the first 10 are negative, the rest pile on bandwagon effect. A decent post can look dodgy purely by crowd's mood. Number 6, asymmetric risk. It's cheap to judge, expensive to repair. A flippant quote tweet can get 10,000 impressions, and the correction gets 10% off that. Now we're looking at part 3, the most common snap judgment traps. Number 1 is halo or horns effect. One striking trait colors the whole person. Attractive to smart, one awkward clip, awful human. That's how it is, unfortunately. Then out group. Now, they all seem the same, or we are nuanced. Online anonymous avatars make this worse. Then we look at language or accent bias. Grammar slips, code switching, or strong accent gets misread as low competence. Then we look at moral outrage reflex. Where we reward hot takes, we punish norms. Then we look at ambiguity intolerance, where a vague post triggers the harshest possible interpretation. And then recently, illusion. The last thing you saw becomes the truth, even if it's an outlier. Now, part 4, what real-life impressions do better. Repair the loop. You can clarify instantly. Sorry, I meant, and continue. Multiple channels where tone softens words, smiles soften edges, and shared activity builds trust. And then repeated contact. Real trust forms over time, and consistency beats the single moment. And then costly signals by showing up, keeping time, helping, and behavior is harder to fake than a polished grid. And then part 5, real world vignettes you can read. That I'm going to read on there, okay? Number 1, the 2-second scroll. You see a young guy in a designer hoodie, captioned another late night. First thought is lazy influencer vibes. You scroll. The context is he's a junior doctor on call. Same photo, different truth. Number 2, the grammar police. A woman posts a long thread with a few typos. comment roast her, and later you learn that she's dyslexic, sharing a life-saving tip about medication interactions. We judged her proofreading, not her point. Number 3, the rude cashier. A cashier is short with you. Snap judgment. Rude. Later you learn they were closing a loan after a co-worker collapsed. Context converts character. So use these as setup equals your judgment, and that leads to reveal, and that reveals to the lesson beats. And then part 6, practical frameworks for you. Okay? And for me, of course. A, for readers and scholars, slow your judgment. Literally, slow. S, suspend the verdict. So count to 5 before reacting. L, look for missing context. What don't I know? Who else is involved? O, offer alternatives, at least 2 other explanations. And W, wait to weigh in, sleep on it if it's heated. And then we're going to look at the 3 C's: context, competence, and character. Context. Could there be a reasonable backstory? Competence. Is this person speaking inside or outside their expertise? And then character. Am I judging their whole character off one moment? Then we're going to look at another abbreviation, which is RAFT, R-A-F-T. Read twice, ask a question, fact check the claim and not the vibe, and then tone check before you post. B, for creators or professionals, help others judge you fairly. Now here is the 10-second profile post, okay? Number 1, we're going to look at the pin post. Who you are and what you stand for. Clear and human. About line, 1 sentence of purpose, 1 boundary, like travel posts are delayed. And then first 9 tile, consistent story, remove ambiguous shots that invite the wrong read. Then we look at caption context, add the missing factors and facts as a stranger wouldn't know. And then comment priming, ask for experiences and not verdicts. What's helped you versus am I right or am I wrong? Then we look at the first impression kit. A warm recent headshot, a 30-second intro reel, a link to your best long-form piece so the curious can go deeper and update their impression. Now we're going to look at part 7, an on-air game and audience interaction, okay? Now, number 1 is the swipe count or court. You read a short post, stripped of context, and now you vote whether, it's innocent, harmless, or red flag. And then you reveal the context and discuss how judgment is shifted. You can do this with yourself or your friend or anyone who's next to you. Then we look at the 2 truths and a post, where there's 3 facts about a person. 1 is just a misleading post. Listeners guess which is the post, and debrief how easy we infer whole stories from 1 image. Number 3 is the 24-hour rule challenge. Ask yourself to delay your next reactive comment for 24 hours, and the next day invite a voice note about how your view changed this time. Now let's look at more snap judgments. Why are we wired for snap judgments? Humans are hardwired to make fast assessments. It's a quick evolutionary survival trait. Thousands of years ago, quick decisions about whether a person was a friend or foe could mean the difference between safety and danger. And then in real life, we use body language, tone of voice, eye contact, and micro expressions to make these calls. On social media, all those cues are stripped away, leaving us to base our judgment on a single photo, a caption, or a short clip, which is like reading 1 line of a book, thinking you know the whole story. Next is the amplifier effect of social media. On platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, which is X, people curate what they want us to see. Like a perfectly lit selfie might make someone look confident and glamorous, when in reality, they could be deeply insecure. A single sarcastic tweet could make someone seem cold or arrogant, when in person they're warm and shy. And then social media acts as an amplifier. Whatever impression we get, good or bad, it becomes louder and faster than it would in a real life setting. Number 3, the problem with first impressions online. In real life, first impressions can evolve over hours or days. You meet someone at work, see them again, and gradually learn about them online. You might see a stranger's post for 3 seconds and instantly label them. The like and comment culture pushes us to react instantly without thinking. Algorithms reinforce the judgment by showing us more of what confirms bias, creating an echo chamber. And then number 4, the highlight reel illusion, where most people share their highlight reel, their best outfits, their best and biggest achievements, their happiest moments. This can make them seem untouchably perfect or conversely arrogant and unrelatable. But if you met them in person, you'd also see their messy kitchen, their bad hair days, their stumbles and awkwardness, things that humanize them. So without those nuances, we fill gaps with assumptions. Anyway, it is time to wrap up. I will be seeing you next week, Thursday. In fact, let's see, we actually have some time. What do you think, Spuniso? We should take a break. Okay, I'll see you after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
Pietermaritzburg, get excited. New stock has just landed at Bawa Superstores. Bring the fun home with our amazing range of kids' rechargeable electric ride-on cars. From luxury Bugattis, tough Jeeps, and siren-ready police cars, the perfect ride for every little driver. Find it all at Bawa Superstore, 439 Victoria Road, Pietermaritzburg. Don't miss out. Everything you need is waiting for you at Bawa Superstore.
Hungry for a deal that hits the spot? Get the top duo deal. 2 large margarita pizzas plus 1 topping each for $1.99. Or go big or go home with the Bellissima duo deal. 2 large Bellissima pizzas for $2.69. Pure flavor perfection. And that's not all. The snack box combos are here. Your pizza boy's favorite pack to the ultimate munch box. Don't forget our daily lunch specials. Delicious, quick, and wallet friendly. Only at Pizza Boys. Taste that hits different. Pizza Boys, bring your va-va boom to your slice of life. Find your nearest Pizza Boys near you. Pizza Boys, we don't cut corners.
Every day, thousands go to bed hungry, but you can change that. With just 10 Rand, you can provide a loaf of bread. This bread is more than just a donation, it is a lifeline for so many families in need. Be part of the Al Ansar Outreach Slice of Life drive today. Call Outreach on 031 208 1601 and make a difference, one loaf at a time.
اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان.
You know what really gets under my skin? When my cake or icing just doesn't come out right. It's such a bummer. But I found this incredible margarine called Wooden Spoon, and it's been a total lifesaver for my baking adventures. It makes my icing turn out just perfect every time. When I whip up something with Wooden Spoon, I feel like a master baker. Seriously, my cakes have never looked better. The secret? Wooden Spoon margarine. It's like the magic ingredient for nailing those perfect bakes. And guess what? It's even endorsed by the South African Bakers Guild Association. Just another quality product from the Willowton Group.
اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم شد أزرهم وسدد رميهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم الطف بإخواننا في كل مكان يذكر فيه اسمك يا أرحم الراحمين. استنصروك يا الله فانصرهم اللهم ارحم الضعفاء والفقراء والمساكين والأيتام والنازحين والمشردين والأسرى يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم أنج المستضعفين من المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا. اللهم كن لإخواننا المرابطين في المسجد الأقصى. اللهم كن لهم ولا تكن عليهم. اللهم فرج همهم، نفس كربهم، داوي جرحاهم، عاف مبتلاهم، اشف مرضاهم، ارحم موتاهم، تقبل شهداءهم.
Your future success doesn't wait, and neither should you. Choose the institution built for the next generation of leaders. At Regent Business School, teaching goes beyond the classroom with immersive learning experiences and cutting-edge learning centers across South Africa. For over 25 years, we've offered accredited, affordable education that transforms careers and lives. 2026 registrations are now open. Visit regent.ac.za today. Regent Business School, a proud member of Honoris United Universities.
A station for conversation, Radio Al Ansar.
It's Ria Mahomed here, hosting the Next Gen show on Radio Al Ansar, with each new episode premiering every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. My audience is invited to partake in this enriching journey, expecting a blend of insight, humor, mental health, trends, and relevance that is offered, guarantees a listening experience that is both enlightening and enjoyable, promising a journey not to be missed. Ria Mahomed from Next Gen. Okay, beautiful souls, it is Ria Mahomed back live on Next Gen. So before I depart and see you next week Thursday, I wanted to speak about cancel culture and the one post verdict. Now, social media has made it normal to judge a person's entire character based on one post, one video, or one out of context quote. Now, this often leads to trial by public opinion without giving the person a chance to explain or grow. So in real life, if a friend says something questionable, we often talk it through. Online, the instinct is to unfollow, block, or call out instantly. Now, while real life impressions are different, when you meet someone in person, they get texture, like their laugh, the way they listen, their little pauses before they speak, how they treat a waiter or a stranger. Now, these moments give a fuller picture of who they truly are. Now, online impressions miss these dimensions entirely, making them fragile, one-dimensional, and prone to distortion. Now, here are the consequences of snap judgments. One, quick online judgment can kill opportunities. For example, someone who might not get hired because of their social media vibe was misread, and then ends friendships before they begin because people may avoid someone based on the misunderstood posts. And then damage mental health by feeling constantly judged makes people anxious about every photo and every word. Anyway, it is time